Kobold, it's good to be back in the old cave.
Oh, this is where it all started. We're so back. Command the Dissonant Whispers was one of my first spell videos ever. And there my main goal was to show people that they're missing out on half of these spells' power. When these spells are used correctly, they just wreck single targets.
Did you succeed?
Yeah, but that was 3 years ago. Now we have new rules and new tech, and the tech is very powerful. I also feel like people have lost touch with how powerful control can actually be for a team. And these two spells specifically are really powerful in a team full of melee martials, which seems to be on the rise. These two spells are literally increasing everyone's damage, and the whole team takes less damage too at the same time. How? Well, I'm glad you asked. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where I can finally show this off. I'm in the new player's handbook. Look, that's me.
Oh my god, that's actually you.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago. It's the same cave. Also, I'm in my loincloth. I was playing D&D every single day back then. Now I can't do it anymore.
What's the gnome doing?
This gnome casts vicious mockery on me for no reason. I didn't even do anything. I don't have my weapon drawn or anything. The other kobolds aren't harming this person either. I'm just being bullied here.
Ah, so that's why you hate the gnomes.
Yeah, she told me Ranger sucked and I got really mad about it. Anyways, let's start with command. First level spell available to Bard, Cleric, and Paladin. Action, 60-foot range. You speak a one-word command to a creature you can see within range. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or follow the command on its next turn. Choose the command from these options. Approach. The target moves towards you by the shortest and most direct route, ending its turn if it moves within 5 feet of you. Drop. The target drops whatever it is holding and then ends its turn. Flee. The target spends his turn moving away from you by the fastest available means. Grovel. The target has the prone condition and then ends its turn. Halt. On its turn, the target doesn't move and takes no action or bonus action. Upcast. You can affect one additional creature for each spell slot level above 1. This has become a lot stronger than the old version. Creatures don't need to understand you for this to work. It works on undead, and upcasting improved too. The creatures don't need to be within 30 feet of each other for this to work. Those are all the changes at a quick glance, but there's actually more. Some people will argue that this spell is nerfed because you can't make your own words anymore. Old command says you may issue a command other than the one described here. If you do so, the DM determines how the target behaves. If the target can't follow the command, the spell ends. I totally understand where people are coming from. You could come up with a creative word, and maybe that would make a massive impact in the fight or whatever you're doing. The freedom it provides is really appealing in tabletop, and you coming up with your own word feels like you have a ton of options compared to the 5 options you have left now. But let's be honest, like these 5 options are the best commands, and they pop up more frequently. But don't get it twisted, I do think it's a good idea to homebrew it back, but either way, I don't actually care.
Kobold, you only care about flee.
Yeah, that's true. They've cut a lot of the fat from the spell. So before it used to say the spell has no effect if the command is directly harmful to it. So that means no jumping down the obvious pit that is directly harmful. That is now completely gone from the spell, so the spell is boosted. So if you command them to flee and there's a pit nearby that's a 200-foot drop, they have to jump into the pit, because the target spends its turn moving away from you by the fastest available means. A 200-foot drop downwards is the fastest available means away from you.
Kobold, that's insane! That's 20d6 full damage!
I think World Anvil is pretty insane too. It's a powerful tool for creative people like artists, writers, and dungeon masters. It will help you make the world you've always wanted to make.
You can make a world full of pits!
And you can put pit fiends in it. Maybe the theme is Hell is invading Earth. And you can take inspiration from Doom or Diablo or whatever, and spin it into a different direction.
They have these useful boxes you can fill in.
Yeah, and if you manage to fill all of these categories with tons of stuff, then you're already well on your way to making this world feel real and interesting. All of the blueprints you need are here on this website. All you have to do is fill them in, And if you can't think of anything, get inspired by others. Be it through video games, a book, or you can browse what other people are creating on World Anvil. There's a big community out there dedicated to storytelling, and World Anvil puts out video guides. So what are you waiting for? I highly recommend checking out World Anvil. I have friends who use this and they love this. Use the code PACK at the checkout and you'll get a 51% off any yearly subscription. Back to the video. By the way, the thing with falling, you can't do this with approach command though. If there's archers across the pits, they won't plummet down because approach says the target moves towards you by the shortest and most direct way. And in my opinion, falling is away from you.
What if it's a river full of lava?
Yeah, they'll walk through the lava and die. As for the pit thing, I think the DM will plummet them because it's creative. And creativity should be rewarded.
Do you think this is intended?
Absolutely. Tons of people in the past wondered if this worked with opportunity attack. And Jeremy says yes, and he explains why. Now we don't need to question it at all because directly harmful is completely gone.
Wait, Kobold, forced movement doesn't trigger opportunity attack.
Correct, but this is not forced movement.
Cool. Huh? Oh yeah, I've forgotten this.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago for you, so I don't really blame you. The explanation is they failed to save, yes. But the creature follows the command on its next turn, not my turn. Avoiding opportunity attack says da-da-da-da-da. You also don't provoke an opportunity attack when you teleport or when you are moved without using your movement action, bonus action, or reaction. The key word is your right here. They're using their movement on their turn to run away. They're also using their action to dash away from you because again, it's the fastest available means. A full-on sprint is the fastest away from you, and they're further away from you too. This has always been intended. Let's go back to 2016, where Bobby, the legendary barbarian, asked Jeremy, does the movement from Dissonant Whispers provoke opportunity attack? The creature uses its reaction to move. Jeremy says you provoke an opportunity attack if you leave a foe's reach using your movement, action, or reaction. He's confirming what I just told you. So this is both rules as written and rules as intended.
Kobold, it's the wrong spell though.
True, and it does function differently too, but if Bobby asked about command, Jeremy would have said the same thing. Copy paste. Anyways, this opportunity attack from command increases all of your melee friends' damage by quite a lot. If there's a rogue next to the enemy, you might double their sneak attack because sneak attack might trigger off their turn. That's a really big deal with just a first level spell slot. I wouldn't be surprised if the party does like 40 damage together because of command. That's assuming if 3 people are around the target. Keep in mind, on the enemy's turn, they are forced to move like 60 feet away from you and end its turn doing absolutely nothing. If that was a big boss, that's devastating for them. If the enemy only does melee attacks, it will take them another round just to get back to the fight. So that means you wasted 2 rounds for the enemy. They have to dash back to the fight. That's a massive win. And keep in mind, this is not a condition or a charm or anything. No one is immune to command. This works on every creature in the game. If one of your party members have Warcaster feat, then they can cast a single target spell instead of making an opportunity attack. That can be Eldritch Blast to push them further. If the Eldritch Blast is scaled to shooting 2 beams, then he shoots with 2 beams. Now, shooting Eldritch Blast in melee might be a bad idea because disadvantage to attacks. But I wanted to bring this up because of scaling. Or they can cast a leveled spell like Dissonant Whispers. There they have to reaction move as far away as they can from the caster if they fail to save. Now the enemy runs 90 feet away. That's insanely far. And Dissonant Whispers does damage too. It's 3d6. That enemy will be out of the fight for 3 rounds. With command, your team, and Warcaster feat, all of you can in theory chain a ton of spells together on this one enemy, all on the same turn. So in theory, you can combine command and Dissonant Whispers and Booming Blade together. Maybe the Booming Blade came from the rogue. This can of course be higher, but with this basic setup alone, that's a lot of damage and control. With the right party setup, you might actually do more than 40 damage. 40 damage or more than 40 damage for a first level spell slot is absolutely worth it. And if there's a pit nearby, that's even more damage. This can absolutely, in theory, become a save or die spell. And it's a first level spell. Command can also trigger your own reaction if you're within melee. But even if you have Warcaster, you can't replace the attack with a spell because of the new rule to spell casting. Before in the past, you could totally do this, but now it's been patched out. You can cast a cantrip though, so there's that. By the way, I expect to see Thief Rogues with command take advantage of bonus action command scrolls to trigger double sneak attack. With enough money and scrolls, that's a very consistent way to get double sneak attack. And if they have Warcaster and Booming Blade, that stacks up to a lot of damage.
Kobold, you just dropped a sick build.
Yeah, I just babbled and suddenly it was right there in front of me. Gator, write that down. We have a build idea. I don't know if I'll make it though. By the way, and this has nothing to do with commands, but I'll bring it up anyways. Warcaster in the past said, when a hostile creature's movement, blah 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 blah. Now it says, when a creature provokes an opportunity attack from you by leaving your reach. What that means is you can let your friends trigger your opportunity attack. That way you can reaction cast spells on them like polymorph and stuff.
That sounds broken.
I don't think so due to how concentration works, and you might be spending extra resources which might not be necessary, but it's definitely an advantage for sure. The thing is, this is a single target cast, and you used your reaction to cast it. It's not like you can use this to cast Aid or Bless or anything like that. What single target buff spell are you really casting? All I can think of is polymorph really. Also, if you're doing this reaction, then you can't reaction cast shield that round, or absorb elements or whatever.
Kobold, you can reaction cast Cure Wounds.
Oh, there we go. That's a clever one. I still don't think it will break anything. It's Cure Wounds. Back to command, and this is random. I saw a picture of clouds while booting up my computer, and it gave me an idea. I want to talk about floating fortresses. I've actually been in a lot of them. They're my favorite types of dungeons because if you're outside, you need to think very carefully about where you're standing and stuff like that. A cloud giant might push you off or throw you off the fortress, for example. Fights are very dangerous and super fun up there, and you fight very interesting enemies. With command, the cloud giants might jump off. If you're fighting a dragon up there, the dragon has to plummet down 500 feet or whatever. Even though they have flight, they have to fall because that's the fastest way away from you. I don't think it's gonna kill the dragon, but it will get rid of it for a while. And it will humiliate it. Hopefully it doesn't return. You get the point. Awesome spell, now it's even more awesome. I'm not against falling being the fastest way, I think it's really funny. Your table will get a good laugh out of it if it happens. Let's quickly tackle Dissonant Whispers now. First level spell available to bards. Action, 60-foot range. One creature of your choice that you can see within range hears a discordant melody in its mind. The target makes a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 3d6 psychic damage and must immediately use its reaction, if available, to move as far away from you as it can, using the safest route. On a successful save, the target takes half as much damage only. Upcast. The damage increases by 1d6 for each spell slot level above 1. The change here is that you need to see the creature. That's it. That's the nerf. Everything else is basically the same as old. Creature takes damage and immediately uses its reaction to move away. It's not like command where you have to wait for the creature's turn to move. This happens right away. And keep in mind what Jeremy told Bobby. This reaction is the creature's reaction. That triggers opportunity attacks. This is not forced movement. Also to note, when the creature runs away, it takes the safest route. It doesn't jump down the pit like it does with command. That's everything. You know the rest from there. Super fun video. This gave me a lot of memories back to when I first started making YouTube content. If you want to watch the old video, link in the description. There I didn't know how to edit. I was half naked with my loincloth.
goth.
And I voice acted like a character, but everyone hated my voice. I'd love to bring it back because I think it's super charming to roleplay in a D&D video. Like, I think it brings an element of the game to the videos. But I found out that people didn't really like roleplay. In my opinion, you making dumb voices with your friends is awesome. But maybe my roleplay voice is too cringy. I'm sorry guys, I can't optimize as hard as Critical Role or anything. I wish I could. I wish I had a radio voice, but I don't.
But Kobold, being cringe is optimal.
Absolutely. I think you become a lot more open and fun if you're a little bit cringe. Anyways, end of video. If you like this video, I hope to earn a like, comment, and a subscription from you. Also, don't forget to check out World Anvil. They'll help you optimize your DMing. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.